Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Jenna, and today's video is a little bit jumbled footage from different days and stuff. Most of the footage you're going to be seeing is from yesterday, and it's just me kind of explaining some postpartum problems I've been having. But I haven't filmed a video in a long time. It's been a minute. The last video I filmed was my birth story, I think. Yeah, because the one that I posted after that was pre-filmed. So I haven't sat down and talked to you since my birth story, and it wasn't even really like, I don't know. I just feel like I need a little catch up. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to be getting ready for the day and catching you up on what's been going on in life and how it's been with having Tatum in our family and adjusting to being a family of 4. So now I will say I'm going to try really hard to get back on schedule because I miss uploading every week and I miss making videos because it's one of my favorite things to do. So Tatum is 8 weeks old. Isn't that insane? Let's talk about her because she hasn't been talked about much or shown on here at all. I'll show you her in a little bit. She's sleeping right now. Both the kids are sleeping. So I'm gonna make sure to get some video of her on this video and maybe some pictures too. But she's a little ball of sunshine. She is so smiley. She's been smiling like real social smiles since she was 3 weeks old. And I just feel like that's really early. I know Hazel smiled around 5 weeks, I think, maybe 4 weeks old, but even that's pretty early. I thought they started smiling around 2 months, but when she first did it, I thought it was like just a fluke, like gas smiles or a dream or something. But then she started doing it really frequently, like if she made eye contact with us, and I was like, oh my gosh, like she's actually, like those are real smiles. So that's been really fun. Hazel loves her. She loves her so much, and it is a blessing that she really loves her. But sometimes she gets so excited that she just wants to like squeeze her and pick her up. So there's been a few times where Hazel has been trying to pick her up when I'm not looking, and I'll look and Tatum's like struggling, trying to keep her head up, and so that's a little bit scary because I need to make sure I don't take my eyes off her for too long. So the first few weeks that Tatum was here, mainly like the first 2 weeks, it was a big adjustment for Hazel. Everyone would always ask like, oh, how are you doing with having 2 now? Like, is it harder than when you first had 1 or whatever? I would always answer that it wasn't really that much different. Like it wasn't that much harder to have a newborn with a toddler rather than just having a toddler. I would always say that the hardest part was the adjustment for Hazel. It's just a big adjustment. I mean, it's a huge adjustment for everybody, but especially for a almost 2-year-old who didn't really understand what was happening. And then all of a sudden there's this new baby taking all of mom's attention, and mom's always sitting on the couch feeding baby and barely ever like doing normal daily tasks right away. So that was a hard adjustment for her. She never like acted out towards the baby, but she did have a little bit more emotional outbursts, I guess, the first 2 weeks, which was really hard and sad because I wanted to help her a lot, but there's only so much I could do, especially by myself once Josh went back to work. But she's doing a lot better now, and that didn't last very long at all. So that's really good. Now she just loves her, and she always tries to like play with her, which is super sweet and nice. And I'm sure she just can't wait until Tatum is old enough to like crawl around with her or walk around with her and play with her. It's gonna be really fun, and it's so cute watching them together. There's so many times that I will come like in the room after putting something in the laundry room and Hazel is laying next to Tatum on the bed, or like trying to give her kisses and stuff, and it's just the sweetest thing ever. I love that she loves her. Of course there's days that she would rather her not be here probably, but she is doing well with the adjustment, and I'm thankful for that. Now as for the baby, she is so happy all the time. I shouldn't say all the time. She is so happy most of the time. During the day, all she does is chill, like laying down because I can't hold her all day. She actually doesn't like being worn to like the ring sling or a carrier. She doesn't love it, which I'm really bummed about, because the times I wore Hazel, which was like every day when she was a baby, I really cherish those times because she was just so close to me, and I know it doesn't last very long. And I wish Tatum liked it, but she doesn't really like it that much. So she's normally just kind of chilling, like on her DockATot or on our bed or something. So she just chills. I am really thankful for that, because I'm able to spend time with Hazel and make sure I still keep the house in order. Otherwise, I will go insane. But as I was saying, she really doesn't have any fussy time except for from like 8 p.m. to midnight or 11, and then she'll normally fall asleep till like 3, and then she'll wake up and be pretty fussy till like 5:30, and then she'll sleep again until 7, sometimes 9. She really does super well throughout the day. The only hard time is nighttime, and I really feel like I don't get much sleep because I go to bed around midnight, and then she's up by 3, and then she cries, like just kind of cries and stops, cries and stops, cries and stops until like 5:30. So that's been kind of tough on my sleep schedule, and also Josh's, because he's still working full time. So that's been a little difficult, but I'm very thankful that she's so happy throughout the day. That makes my life a lot easier during the days. I'm gonna do my eyeliner without talking because it is a little bit difficult. Okay, did my eyeliner. Now I want to just give a little postpartum update. So like I said, in the next clip you're gonna see like me talk in depth about some postpartum problems I've been having. But if you've been here since I had Hazel, you'll know that postpartum was really rough because of my birth injury and stuff. So my recovery was a lot different this time around, and I'm very thankful for that. I would say around 2 weeks postpartum, I was feeling almost back to normal. My stitches didn't heal fully by then, but I was like able to do daily tasks, no problem. And I didn't have much pain at all. Sometimes if I was sitting in a weird position, I could feel my stitches kind of like tugging, just like a normal cut would feel. But it was absolutely incomparable to what, is that a word? Incomparable? Uncomparable? I couldn't even compare it to my 4th degree tear recovery at all, because that was brutal. And people would ask me how I'm doing and stuff this time, and every time they'd ask me, it just like was immediate shock again how good I felt. And this isn't trying to downplay like a 2nd degree tear. Like if you've had a 2nd degree tear, it's still an injury in like a very sensitive part of your body and delicate part of your body. So I'm not downplaying it at all. But compared to what I had experienced in my own experience, I felt amazing. And I just kept telling people when they'd ask, like, I did not know how I was supposed to feel postpartum the first time. Mainly even emotionally and mentally. I really wish I would have reached out to someone to tell them how much I was struggling, or just for help even. I don't necessarily know what I would have done for help, but I struggled so bad emotionally with Hazel, and I did not realize it until this postpartum experience where I felt pretty much normal. Like obviously there was times that I felt emotional or just really tired or sometimes angry, but it was so different. I felt very I don't know if it was depressed with Hazel, but I felt very hopeless, and like every day was such a struggle to get through. And it was never about her. It was because of my injury. I just couldn't do the things I needed to do, and it really affected me mentally too. I was crying almost every day. It was just really difficult, and I was very anxious every day. I didn't know if I was going to heal properly. I didn't know what the rest of my life pretty much would look like, just because I was reading and hearing so many horror stories about 4th degree tears, and I wasn't prepared for what changes would occur or what changes did occur, and it was really tough. But I'm so thankful for this postpartum experience, because I was able to enjoy both of my kids and able to be up and moving with them and just happy, like enjoy it and not feel hopeless every day. And again, I want to reiterate, that was not about the baby. It was strictly about how it affected my physical body and my emotional health and everything. I just wish I had a better experience mentally so that I could have really taken in those newborn days with Hazel. But I'm really thankful I got the opportunity this time, and also to just take in extra moments with Hazel too, like kind of healing that past time. I'm just about done getting ready, so I'm gonna pass on the camera to the next clips, which was filmed yesterday on the way to my appointment, and that's all about my actual problems that I've been dealing with postpartum. After that, you'll see some clips of the baby and some pictures and stuff too. On to yesterday's footage. Today I am off to the hospital just for an appointment because I'm having some after birth issues again. If you've been around since Hazel was born, I had a retained placenta, which I actually don't know if I talked about it too much on YouTube, but I had a retained placenta which was discovered, when was it discovered? Probably 6 to 8 weeks after I had her, and it was just like bits of the placenta, but it was an ongoing issue and just caused a lot of problems postpartum, and that they think that is happening again. So I now have to go see an OB instead of my midwives because, oh, wrong way. I now have to go see an OB instead of my midwives because I need the specialty care, I guess. I'm going to be a little bit TMI right now, so if you don't want to hear TMI stuff, then don't listen to this part. Maybe skip ahead, like, I don't know, I'll put a timestamp. Alright, I'm back. My memory card filled up and couldn't deal with that while I was driving. But what I was saying is that basically what's going on, again, remember this is a little bit TMI, so if you don't really want to hear about that, if you don't want to hear TMI details, then skip ahead. But what basically happened is at my 6-week postpartum visit, I thought everything was fine because I had stopped bleeding, like the normal postpartum bleeding, probably 3-4 days before my appointment. And then I started to get really hungry, really angry. I lost, like, my milk supply dropped. I was getting breakouts all over my face and overall just very moody, as if I was PMSing. And I was like, I feel like I'm gonna get my period already. And that night I started bleeding again, so I just was like, oh, it's just my period, whatever. And then at my appointment, I was telling the midwife what happened. I stopped bleeding, and then I started again, but I think it's my period. And basically, she didn't think that's what the case is, because that's really rare, I guess, when you're breastfeeding. But I got my period back really early, like this with my first. But we thought it was because of the bits of retained placenta. So then I'm like, well, maybe that's just how my body reacts, is I get my period right away, because I know that happens to some people. But my midwife did a pelvic exam and checked my uterus, and it was enlarged. So she wanted me to get an ultrasound right away. So I got an ultrasound, and it showed that my endometrium was thick and heterogeneous, I think it's pronounced, which basically means it's abnormal. And they didn't give any other details besides that. So my midwives, like, all of them had different things to say, but 2 out of the 3 of them said that I should definitely go get a second, not opinion, but just a follow-up with a specialist OB and decide what we need to do, because they think that I probably have bits of retained placenta again, and I will likely need to go on medication or get a DNC, which I am not a fan of those options, but I'll do what I have to do, because with my last experience with the retained bits of placenta, I had the option of a DNC, and it was highly encouraged, but I chose not to because I did not want to do surgery, and I just really don't like surgery. I don't do well with anesthesia at all, and it just freaked me out, to be honest. So I decided to kind of let my body work itself, like work the placenta out by itself. And I think that's the reason it took us relatively a long time to get pregnant again, and I had a early loss too. And based on Google and what the doctors have told me, it was likely because I didn't get the retained placenta taken care of, and the miscarriage probably cleaned it out, if that makes sense, as sad as that is, but kind of just like my body's way of getting itself healthy again. So right now I'm going to an OB because we're gonna figure out what's going on. Hopefully I don't have bits of retained placenta again, but what I'm thinking is gonna happen is I'll have to get a pelvic exam and then get another ultrasound to see why my endometrium is abnormal. So that's where I'm headed right now, and I will check in after and just kind of update on what the dealio is. But that's where I'm headed. I'm without the kids, and it feels really weird because I'm rarely ever without them. I think I've been without them both once, maybe twice. So it feels weird. I'm gonna sing in the car. So I'll talk to you after my appointment. I'm back in the car now, and we have good news, I think. Yeah, it is good news. The OB I saw today reread my ultrasound because the person who read it before was a radiologist, so they just gave kind of general terms. So she read it, and she thinks that my uterus looked pretty normal for a postpartum uterus. So she thinks that it was my period, and the reason that it looked abnormal was because since I'm breastfeeding, it could have just slowly shed, like instead of all at once, like a normal period. And she thinks that it was my period, and that's why I was bleeding, which is what I think too. And the spotting now that I'm still experiencing is just residual stuff because I'm still breastfeeding, so it's not clearing out completely. But she thinks it's normal, and we're going to follow up in a few weeks if I still have these symptoms. But that is great news, so I'm really glad about that, and I'm not even going to worry about it anymore unless I still have symptoms in like 3 weeks. So that's the update. So I'm going to head home now and get my babies, probably stop at a few stores on the way home because it's way easier to shop when you're alone. But yeah, peace. Here's baby TT. She's taking a nap while I got ready. She's seriously so precious, you guys. Mommy! Hi. Jeez. You're beautiful. Say hi, Titi. Are you gonna smile for us? Are you gonna smile? What do you think? Hazel. Hi. Tatum, you're kicking your legs. Hazel, do you want to lay by Tatum? Okay, go ahead. That's so sweet. Do you love your sister? Yeah. Don't put your feet on her though, okay? Hazel, please don't kick your sister. Okay guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I will be having the water birth Q&A up soon, hopefully in the next few weeks. I asked on Instagram if you had any questions about the water birth experience or even just birth at a birth center. And I got a lot of questions that I thought would be beneficial for a YouTube video. A lot more questions than I expected, so I'll make a full video on it. If you're not following me on Instagram, feel free to leave any questions about my birth or the water birth experience in the comments here, and I'll add them to the next video. Also, you should just go follow me on Instagram if you're not already, so that you can be a part of the next Q&A over there and not have to worry about commenting. Although I do like the comments too. But that's all for this video. Thank you so much for watching, and maybe I'll see you back next time.